Hello, all you beautiful people. This is Optimistically Depressed, and I am your host, Ruth McMullen. I'm so thrilled that you are here with me. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to my podcast. I really, really appreciate it. And if you are enjoying it, it would help me a lot if you can rate and review this podcast. And also if you can tell your friends. I'm wanting to get this out there. I think that I'm doing a fairly good job at creating a community where we can be open and honest about our mental health, about our struggles, just how we're doing. And, I want to help as many people as I can. I want to reach as many people as I can. And the best way I can do that is through you. So if you can share this, I would really appreciate it. I want to thank Angela over at Simple Rituals Skincare for sponsoring me. You helped make this happen, Angela. So thank you so much. And it's awesome to be able to be sponsored by a product that I use and that I enjoy. And it's made from natural stuff, no chemicals. And also, I say this all the time, but I love using her moisturizer in my hair. This multi-purpose, beautiful moisturizer, and my hair and my skin are so thankful for it. So anyway, go check her out, simplerituals.ca. So things have been going better this week. We're kind of recovering from Sean's hand issues, and the swelling in his hands has gone down. He went and saw our family doctor, and she ruled out a few more things and has him going to a rheumatoid specialist to see if maybe it's some kind of arthritis. So rheumatoid arthritis. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's something simpler, but the swelling has gone down. She gave him some great anti-inflammatories, and he's able to kind of do more things without pain, which is so wonderful. And now I guess we're kind of in a bit in the aftershock. We're still kind of recovering. I find that for me, I have like a slow burn, so I can go through something and I can be like, yeah, I'm okay. And then like a week later, I'm like, oh, I am not okay. So that's kind of what this week has been so far. But the week is young, and honestly, today was actually pretty good. It's been a while since I've been able to sincerely say that I had a really a good day where I didn't have to, put a lot of energy into just feeling kind of nothing as opposed to feeling hopeless. And so it's been a really nice break. So I got to interview Emma again. She was on near the beginning of Optimistically Depressed, and I got to bring her on again to talk about eating disorders, specifically anorexia. And she was amazing. She's also a trained nurse, so she has a lot of medical experience in this kind of stuff, and so she has a deeper understanding as far as how all of this stuff works. It was really fascinating to be able to hear from her personal experience and professional experience. I think that's that's a perspective that you don't necessarily get to hear that often. And I really appreciate her honesty. And also, there's an interruption. There's a pretty major interruption from my kids. So you'll also get to hear from some of my children. And my middle guy actually stayed in and hung out with us for about half of the episode. So you're gonna hear some of his input. But Emma is amazing. She's amazing with kids, and it didn't faze her at all. She just kind of kept going. So it just makes me so grateful for, this is the type of community that I'm a part of, and it's awesome. These kinds of people, I get to have these kinds of people to my home, and I get to talk with them and learn from them. I feel so privileged. And Emma is such a beautiful soul. She's so kind-hearted, and she's so understanding, and she's also so strong. And it's a privilege to know her. So, I get to call her a friend, and that's amazing. So I'm very excited to be able to introduce you back to Emma. And I really hope that you enjoy her story and her experience. And if you have any questions, please get in touch with me. You can find me on Instagram at Optimistically Depressed. If you have any comments even that you want to like pass on to the people that you like, whose podcast you hear, just let me know, because it's really encouraging for the people that come onto the show to know if this is something that's affected you, that resonated with you. So please let me know and I can pass a message on to them. Or if they do leave their social media handle in the episode, then contact them directly and just let them know how what they shared has affected your life. Because that's all part of building the community that I'm really going for. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Here is Emma. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
This is Ruth here.
And Emma again.
Emma has come back.
Yeah.
This is cool. We're going to be talking about some other interesting things. Something that Emma had kind of touched on in the last podcast that she did with me, but didn't really get into any detail about. And this time, we're going to be getting into more detail about it.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Maybe.
No, I am excited too. I think that's going to be really informative. That's a word.
It is a word.
Cool.
It's
I used
been
it
a day.
properly. Did I?
Yes.
Oh, I got fuzz in my water. Man.
The shirt did fall in there.
The shirt did fall in. I'm so thirsty. I'm going to be drinking it anyway.
Shirt water.
Oh my goodness. Shirt water.
It's a Canadian thing, I've heard. I think people have been missing my accent. Do you think?
People absolutely were missing your accent. It's a very endearing accent. Like, and I have hair on my tongue now. Oh.
Stay with us, people. It'll be fine.
We're gonna get into this.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness! Once I get the fuzz off my tongue. Okay.
I wish this was like video recorded also with you.
You know, maybe one day it will be. Maybe when I get out of the closet, though.
Yeah.
So we're still in the closet. Hopefully, we're actually working on, by we, I mean Sean and I are working on a studio downstairs. And we just need to soundproof it. But we got furniture in it. We have a table and 2 chairs.
Okay, that's all you need.
That's all you
Really?
need. And a carpet, and the carpet looks really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but I want to fill it with artwork and plants and make it all welcoming,
Cozy.
cozy. And, the more stuff you have in it, the more stuff there is to absorb sound. So
Oh.
that's always a good
It's
thing.
getting technical now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's why the closet's so great.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Although now, we've purged recently, so there's less stuff, on the floor of the closet. And so I was actually in here recording just, a little bit for the beginning of a podcast yesterday. And I was sitting on the floor initially with the mic on the floor, and it was so echoey. So I was like, oh, yeah, I need to, have this up at the level of
I got rid of my stuff.
I got rid of all my
Must
stuff.
buy more
This
stuff.
isn't gonna
No,
work
that's
anymore.
not the point.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a little bit of what's happening in my world. / today was so hard. I'm so tired. I'm emotionally, physically exhausted. How are you doing?
I am with you. I am the same. It has been a rough day. I'm still awake. I'm not sure how. But we're going to do it. Let's do it. words aren't always coming out of my mouth as they are supposed to, but
You know what? It doesn't even matter. Your accent makes you sound like all of the words are perfectly intelligent.
I just had a coffee, so
You're probably
we'll see
geared up.
how it goes.
I like, I could say, you and I could say the same thing, and you would sound intelligent. I would sound like a moron.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Those accents are magical.
I know.
What are you here to talk about?
Well, I think I'm here to talk about eating disorders. In particular, anorexia nervosa, to give it its full name.
What's the full name?
Anorexia nervosa. So, and bulimia also has that nervosa on the end. And I think, I don't know what, was it Latin or Greek or something? I don't know. This is a complete guess. Nervosa was like the name that they used to give it because it was like nervous eating or nervous and not eating or something. Like back in the day when they had no idea what it was. Nervousness around food or whatever, something like that. But I could be completely wrong, and nervosa might not mean nervous, but it kind of makes sense that it would.
That does make sense.
So we'll go with it.
Yeah, let's go with it.
And I'll Google it afterwards.
Sounds good. You just say confidently with your accent, everyone will believe you.
It means nervousness, okay? I'm sorry for yelling.
It means nervousness, okay? Shh. Okay, I accept that.
Okay.
So what is your experience with these eating disorders?
So I have had anorexia since I was 13. So how many years is that? 15 years? And it sucks. Like, it really sucks.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I am in a phase of my recovery now where I'm like in a good physical place with my, like, regards to my weight, which I haven't always been in when I've tried to recover. So I think this time, hopefully, it'll be a good thing. Only being a good weight can only help me in my recovery. It helps me with thinking clearly, which I'm not right now.
And that's because you only got like 1 hour of sleep last night.
I got 1 hour's sleep last night because I'd taken a sleeping tablet the previous 2 nights to try and get some sleep because I had a lot of stuff going on last week that was very draining and I was just exhausted. But the sleeping tablet I have is short-term use only because they're addictive and then you can't sleep without them, which I found out last night because I didn't take it.
Oh, man.
And it was the worst. It made today even tougher than it already was going to be. So,
do you want to talk about why today was going to be tough anyway?
So I am going to an eating disorder outpatient program. I just call it clinic because, you know.
That makes more, like, it's easier to
clinic.
say quicker.
Yep. The clinic.
The clinic.
And I go there every day. Well, Monday to Thursday. And we have breakfast. Then there's some groups, like goal setting group was today, which is why today was so difficult. And like a group about processing things and other helpful groups, like there's yoga sometimes and mindfulness and rec therapy where they just do crafty type things and I just watch because I hate craft. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm not too into crafts either. I've got to be honest. Although I like crocheting and knitting and that kind of stuff.
I can't. My, like, fine motor skills are not my thing, and I also get the shakes in my hands because of medication. So I'm like trying to like do things, and I'm like my hands shaking, and I'm like I can't stop it, and I'm already bad at this. But anyway, so then we Monday and Thursday we prep lunch together, like me and the other patients and like some staff. And then the other days, one day is sandwiches. And then today is like a box lunch that you either bring with you or you have leftovers from Monday. And that's what I did today. I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself, and I'm gonna have leftovers from Monday lunch, because I've really struggled. It seemed like a lot of food, and I'm struggling a lot with we're all having the same portion size because we have to, because it's the clinic, but we're all different heights and body types, and we all have different metabolisms, and so it's very difficult for me to be okay with having the same size portion as someone who's like 5'10".
Right.
Why I'm 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't need as much food, but maybe that's disordered thinking. But I just have to trust the process and trust the group and trust the staff that my weight isn't shooting up and up and up. Apparently it's not. And just go with it. You have to finish everything on your plate, so...
Wow. Did you finish everything on your plate today?
I did.
Nice.
Like, it's not really an option not to.
Oh, okay. Why? What do they do if you don't?
They might, consider, kicking you out of the program. I don't know.
Seriously? So it's, serious.
Eating disorder treatment is tough. It's strict. It's very, rigid, because it's trying to fight against our rigid thought patterns that we have as eating disorder people.
Okay.
And then after every lunch, we have to have a dessert, which you wouldn't do in real life, probably, although you could if you wanted to. You wouldn't have a dessert after every lunch, but they wanted us to, they wanted it to be, a normal thing that we could do. So we have, a handful of something, 2 little Oreos or, Oreo cookies or, something.
Okay.
Small.
Okay.
But, so it gets us back into eating, maybe what we do actually want to eat secretly. And just trying to normalize that. But yeah, so today was rough with goal setting and weigh-in and that tough lunch, and sitting with all of those anxious feelings was hard. And I'm just so tired, so it feels when you're tired, everything feels so much worse.
Yeah.
Times 10, this. If I wasn't so tired, would it really be this tough? Would I really be struggling to finish this meal when everyone else around me has finished? So everyone's waiting for me to finish, because no one leaves until everyone's finished and checked in and told everyone how they felt about what they just ate. So that was fun. After I finished mine, I was like, well, let me break it down for you. This was awful. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was a big struggle. But it's Thursday tomorrow, and it's the last day this week. And I've just finished 4 weeks, and I didn't think I would ever get there. It's a 26-week program, and I've done 4 weeks already. I can't believe it.
That's amazing.
I'm still there.
Good job.
They're not going to let me leave until the 26 weeks are up. They're like, we're going to keep her. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're a cute small person, and you're quite endearing, so I can understand why they want to keep you around.
Everyone's taken to my accent pretty well, and a few of the other patients try to mimic it, and it's just really funny. It's just sounds so posh and sometimes Australian, which is a thing that people do when they try and mimic my accent.
Yes.
It's awesome.
I would be terrible if I tried to mimic your accent. That's why I don't do accents. I don't do accents. I suck at them. I had a friend who was really good at doing accents, being yeah, just do an accent. Just do a French accent. And then he just started with it. He's an actor too. He's done. Okay. So he just started into this French accent. And I was just sitting there you sound amazing. I'm an idiot. Why are you wanting me to I can't. Okay, anyway, it's embarrassing. So I won't try to mimic your accent because it won't go well. And my self-esteem today is kind of down. So I'm just going to
Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. I got to reserve what last bit of it I have left. When I get a better sleep tonight, I'll be feeling better. Yesterday was so good. And you know what? Even today, I had a lot of really awesome meetings with people and that kind of thing. But I just, it's like the headspace, you get into a certain headspace and then you're like, I have trouble.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting out of it. Okay, but let's go back to you.
Oh, good.
I know.
I do love it when the attention is on me.
I know it's one of your favorite things.
Nobody look at me. Well, you can't look at me. Apart from the video at the beginning.
Yeah, right.
Which is I hate it, Ruth. I'm sorry. I really hate it.
That's fine.
I just feel so awkward. What do I do with my body face?
I can just cradle you in my arms for the whole video. and then you'll know what to do with your arms and whatever. It won't matter because you'll just be in a cocoon of my love.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, what got you into what made you start anorexia? Did that sentence kind of made sense, right?
Kind of.
What started it? There we go.
Yeah. I was 13, hormones flying around like crazy. Issues at home, which I think I touched on in my last podcast with you, surrounding my mum and her bipolar and her numerous admissions to psych hospital and emotional abuse happening at home and bullying at school and a lot of pressure from a high-performing school to perform in exams perfectly, and if you got B's, then you were kind of average, maybe.
Wow, that'd be hard.
That was
Sheesh.
great.
Yeah.
5 years I'll never get back. And I remember, I think my mum had just had an admission, and I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I was struggling with low mood and anxiety. Looking back then, I was just well, this must be normal because my mum is in hospital, so this is why I'm feeling so crap.
Right.
But it was more than that. So I remember I started to self-harm, and I was doing that for a while, and it wasn't really doing it for me. It wasn't the release that I had hoped. It kind of made me feel more numb. So I just remember one day kind of I refused to eat candy with my friend or chips or something. And I liked candy and chips. I was never a huge fan, but it was nice to have them with your friends at school. And I just remember gradually cutting things out of my diet that I thought, I don't know what I thought really at the time, but looking back, I was just looking for control. I can't control my mum, I can't control my dad, I can't control the school here that's doing my head in. It's making me crazy. And I can't control the hormones flying around my body, and I can't control my low mood, my anxiety, but I could control what went into my body and how much exercise I did. And looking back, that was exactly what I was doing. And in a way, I was discussing this actually with someone at the clinic last week. That coping mechanism of not eating and exercising a ton worked for a long time. It helped me cope with life. And now it's being taken away. And so everything is kind of my anxiety is really high. I get a lot of nausea with anxiety, so that's unhelpful when you're trying to eat food, because when you feel nauseous, do you want to eat? Not really.
Right.
But I have no choice. So pushing through that is very tricky. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. What am I saying?
Well, you're saying that that not eating and exercising a lot worked. And I'm wondering, what was it about it? Like, what did it do that made you believe it was working?
It gave me the control that I really wanted. And it gave me something to focus on, like a hobby, but a really destructive hobby that ruined my life. Woo! I'm so tired. Yeah, so
really
it's like some people play tennis,
Yeah.
but no, it's not really like that at all. Yeah, tennis,
Some people
anorexia,
play
tennis,
Some
anorexia.
people stop eating and exercise a lot.
Um,
Well, how did you have it? How much would you eat in a day?
I don't really want to mention specific amounts because I know that it can be really triggering to other people, but
Okay.
I was not really eating much at all, and I would just exercise to the point where I was just like almost collapsing on the floor.
And then how did you go through the rest of your day?
Adrenaline.
And that was a result of just
Like nervous energy. Like I was so anxious. It was like I was high.
really.
It's like when you don't eat, sometimes you can feel like euphoric. It's interesting.
That is interesting. I've never felt that before.
Like for
I
an
get
extended.
just really angry.
Yeah. Hangry.
I said angry, but yes, angry. Or I go to sleep. Like I don't feel happy about it.
No, because it's not a nice place to be. But if you do it for a long time, sometimes, I don't know, you just get like a buzz. I think it must alter some kind of brain chemistry and hormones in your body. And I was going to look into this and like try and remember stuff, but I did not.
That's fine.
Sorry.
That's fine. I'm interested in your personal experience anyway.
Yeah, so just feeling like I'm kind of floating. I'm like, I'm so hungry and I'm so tired and I'm feeling so detached from the reality and detached from my body. I'm like dissociating because I'm not grounded because I'm so hungry and I'm just like literally floating around, like not really on this planet. Hi, here I am. And yeah, it's hard to explain. I think the more stress I had at school, the more detached I became, and then the more I didn't want to eat, and the nausea and just feeling like really euphoric about that. And then, you know, when you exercise, you get all those like happy hormones floating around your body. Mm-hmm. But also, I physically didn't feel very well.
But
for a lot of my like teenage years.
But you were okay with that?
It seemed a good payoff. No, that's not the phrasing.
To you,
it seemed like a sacrifice I was prepared to make.
Yeah. Okay.
And once you get deeper into an eating disorder, you feel like you don't deserve to feel any better, and you feel unworthy because you're depressed, because you're malnourished, and the longer you go without food, the harder it is to think clearly. So sometimes I get little moments where like, maybe like I'll eat something and then, you know, I'll start to feel like a little bit better. And then I would just like, it would just be like a fleeting thought. And then I would be back just having enough energy to concentrate on putting one foot in front of the other and not having any energy or brain power to think about making good choices with food. So for me, the hardest part of starting a recovery journey again is you can't think about eating. You just have to do it. And it's like the hardest thing to accept. Your brain and your disorder will tell you, don't eat, don't do it, it's bad, it's wrong, you're this, you're that, all the lovely names it calls us. And you'll never recover if you think about eating in the beginning. You just have to do it. You just have to trust.
Okay.
And just do it.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
And so are you getting past the point of just doing it now, or are you I'm sorry, we're having a small interruption by one of my lovely children. What's going on? Okay, well, that's all right. And how about you two say hi to everybody who's out there?
Hi. What's your name?
Aw, Jackson, my middle child, wants to know what your name is. If you'd like to send a message along, let me know what I can tell him.
Sorry.
That would be great.
Sorry, just wanted to tell. Sorry.
It's okay. So each of you will be able to entertain yourselves for a little bit longer, and I'll be right there.
No, I'm like Jackson. Owen stole Jackson's device.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. So to everybody else out there who's wondering what's going on here, Sean's out this evening, and
Kids are running wild.
Kids are running wild. If you've been hearing thumping through this podcast, it's because the children are running around. And I gave them devices to make it so they would leave me alone.
Doesn't seem to have worked.
It was not effective. But yeah. Hey, how about you let Jackson into your room? You two can hang out while we finish this up.
I want to hang out.
Aw, well, it's hanging out or,
We can go to bed. Night.
night.
Sayonara.
Yeah, thanks.
Good night.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Oh,
there's a
children.
first for everything. That's actually a little part of the reason why my face is numb right now.
Oh,
Because the kids were not listening to me before you came over either. So I was like trying to get them ready for bed and like get them all like tucked away in their rooms, and they were not listening to me, and I was asking them to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and I lost my cool at least twice, probably 3 times. And then I thought, I'm tired.
And here we are.
And here we are. But the other thing is, I'm actually I'm glad that you're over, and doing podcasts always help me feel better, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's good to talk.
it's good to talk.
Yeah.
It totally is.
It's scary.
It's terrifying. It's funny, I do this podcast where people come on here and they're all vulnerable, and I'm thinking like I'm trying to be more and more vulnerable, but it's even still there are parts of my life that I'm not going to talk about.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But I think that's healthy. I
Yeah,
think
it
that's
is.
good. Like to know that there are just some parts that I'm not going to share, and that's okay. But I'll definitely use that as a way to be understanding toward other struggles that people are going through.
I mean, there are boundaries, right?
Yes, exactly. But yeah, to go back to what I was saying before, I was asking, what was I asking? It was, do you remember?
No. Guys,
remember.
anyone out there remember?
Anybody out there remember? Well, we were talking about the eating disorder and and how you would have just enough energy to put one foot ahead of the other, no brain power. Oh, you're in this program. Have you gotten past the point where you don't need to think, like where you need to not think in order to eat, or does it take a little while to get to that? Like, does it take longer than 4 weeks to get to that point? I assume it's different for everybody. How's it going for you?
Yeah, so I'm still in the place where I'm mostly mechanically eating, which means not really thinking about how it tastes or looks or smells, and just doing it because I need to do it. And food. Right now I'm trying to tell myself that food is medicine.
Okay.
And then and it's also fuel, but from a nursing point of view, medicine sounds better and resonates with me more. It's just doing it, because if I, even now, like even after 4 weeks of like...
Sorry for interrupting you again. I just have nothing to do.
Hey, bud. Please go back into your room, buddy. Or actually, you know what? Come here. Close that door. We could listen to the perspective of a 6-year-old. Come on over here. Everybody, please meet Jackson. Jackson, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, Jackson. I would like you to sit here, and I'd like you to be really nice and quiet, okay? We're going to have a discussion about some serious stuff, and if you have questions about it, you can ask some questions during the podcast, and then we can talk about it more later, okay?
What does that say right there?
That's the sound waves that shows that the computer is picking up our voices. All right, but we will talk. I'm going to be talking with Emma right now, buddy, and then you and I can talk more after this, okay?
Can you do can you activate one so I can hear what this was saying?
I will do that when we're done the podcast. Yeah, I know. It's difficult stuff. Okay.
rough.
You're still doing the mechanical eating.
Yeah. So it's just getting food in
Yeah.
rather than thinking about
What is it that doing?
tastes good
What is it doing?
or
Okay.
yeah. So it's just basically just doing it without thinking, because if I made the decision to not do that, I wouldn't
I want to play with something.
eat, if that makes sense.
Like
Like
blocks from here. Can I have some blocks from here to do something?
There aren't any blocks in my chair, buddy. This is a train wreck.
It is. It kind of sums up how my day is gone.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of glad this is happening. Like, this is how my day is going.
I want to play with something.
buddy.
This is how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, I know, but this is actually like a podcast that people are going to be listening to. And you know what? I think that some people are going to really appreciate the interruption and find it amusing. And then eventually they're going to be like, you know, I'd love to be able to listen to the rest of what we are trying to discuss right now. So Jackson, how about we play the quiet game and you show me how quiet you can be?
Best game ever.
Or you can go into your room and play with Lego.
Play with,
Lego is so good.
but I don't have anything to watch.
Okay, that's okay because you don't need it. All right, so
Uh,
okay, everybody, welcome to Parenting with a Podcast.
That's like another idea for podcasts.
That totally is another idea. Oh, my
Question
goodness.
time with
Question time. Yeah,
children.
children.
So yeah, I was talking about mechanical eating, and it sounds weird, like robotic.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it kind of is,
yeah,
because you're just doing it. Because if I just wanted to make a decision about eating, I'd probably a lot of the time still say no food.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like the first step of recovery is just doing it, because you don't have the brain power to think about what's good for you.
You don't have the brain power. Right, that makes sense.
Like at the beginning of this particular recovery journey, I wasn't really eating much at all, and I was losing weight fairly rapidly over the course of like a month before I went into treatment. And I just thought, I suddenly lost my job, and I ran out of excuses not to do this program. And my dietitian was like, "Oh, you're not working. I forgot. Yeah, you can do this program, right? I'll see if, there's any space." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't. Okay." And I, against my better judgment, maybe, my eating disorder judgment anyway, I said, "Okay." And then I got to the point where, it was going to be a little bit of a wait.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I can't wait. I need it now."
Okay.
And that was like oh dear, water everywhere.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, so I got to the point where I was like, I listened to the part that was like, I need this.
And so you and what voice was it that made it so that you could listen to that?
Like my faith, I think. This is the first time I've tried to recover with God in my life. And I really think that's made such a difference.
When did you start believing in God?
I think I've always believed, but it was really about 7 years ago that I came back to faith.
Okay. And then so in that 7 years, this is the first time that you've tried to like more seriously recover. Huh.
Yeah. And I told the clinic, like, I'm done. It's been 15 years. I got to beat this. I can't do it anymore. Like, this is taking too much of my life. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty with, like, this illness. Like, I don't know if I can have children. Have borderline osteoporosis.
Really, from the eating disorder? Wow, I didn't realize.
It's very common.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know.
Yeah. And there's, numerous other things too. And it's kind of the driving force. I'm coming round to the idea that I am deserving and worthy of a future. So I have to recover in order to have that.
That's amazing.
Because it's either recover or eventually it'll kill you.
Wow.
You can only lose so much weight before you... And people die of anorexia all the time. Like it's 1 in 5.
Are you serious? I didn't realize that was...
It's the highest mortality rate of any mental illness.
What's that?
It's like the highest rate of death compared to like any other mental illness.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And it's either like heart attack or suicide, or there's a lot of like complications that can happen with restricting, over-exercising. People just like drop dead. They've gone for a jog. They're like a super low weight. Their body's not doing super well. They just drop dead. Or some people do abuse diuretics, laxatives. The diuretics can mess around with your potassium levels, which can give you a heart attack. And if your body's pretty weak already, you can die from that too. And not eating makes you depressed, surprisingly. So the suicide rate's fairly high.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not... It's a very complicated illness, and that's why a lot of people don't recover, because it's so misunderstood by many different people, and it's so difficult to recover from, because it feels like it has such a hold on you. Like, it's like telling you, like, don't eat, don't do this, don't do that, and then you listen to it a lot, which is bad.
Yeah. So, okay, when you say that people don't understand, is it like people are like talking to you like, just eat kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I sarcastically reply that, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Guys, never say that to anyone. Like it's kind of like probably one of the most ignorant things you could say. Apart from, I had someone tell me, oh, you don't look anorexic. I'm like, oh, that's like the most triggering thing you could have ever said, because I did look stereotypically anorexic 5-10 years ago, but I don't anymore, which is good. But sometimes people think that you're less worthy of treatment if you aren't super underweight, which is actually kind of cemented by the fact that a lot of treatment centres won't take people who are over a certain BMI.
Seriously?
I'm thinking specifically of the UK.
Okay.
If your BMI is like within the normal range or even at like a bit low, they won't take you because there's no funding, because it's mental health, right? Who cares?
Seriously. Yeah.
That's another podcast.
We're going to have you on for a third one.
But here it's different.
Yeah.
It's better here. It's like early intervention is more important to mental health services here, which is good. But yes, it's interesting.
Wow.
And just to clarify, BMI, body mass index, is the most useless measure of health I have ever seen, and it doesn't take into account muscle mass, body type, and it's only still being used because doctors don't have another tool to use to kind of try and measure how you're doing weight-wise compared to your height.
Wow.
It's useless. It really is. And it's very hard. I remember I wanted to be... No. My doctor wanted me to go for treatment in the UK when I was about 19. And my BMI was too high. And I was basically told on the phone by the eating disorder service, in not so many words, you know, you're not priority because your BMI is too high, and there are people ahead of you who have a lower BMI. So imagine what that did to my eating disorder.
Seriously.
I just gave me the excuse maybe, and I just plummeted. My weight plummeted, and got a phone call. We want you in for day treatment because your BMI is low.
Wow.
And now you can't think, and you're less likely to ever fully recover because you haven't had early intervention.
That's tragic. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so sorry that that's something that you've gone through.
And it's so common. I think like nearly everyone. In the UK at least. I mean, my experience here is very different.
Okay.
They are better at putting people in different programs like that are more suited to them. Like if their weight is lower or whatever, they need to be hospitalized or whatever. But I remember doing a day treatment program in the UK, and we were all like super sick, and really we should have all been inpatient. But there's like 3 beds for like 3 counties, adult beds. Like there's like, I don't know, for like 2 or 3 provinces there are 3 adult beds or something in the UK equivalent.
Insane. Wow.
So we weren't inpatient. We were day patient, and it was tricky. It was tragic.
That's heartbreaking.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how that's ever going to change, really, because it's not a priority for the government to fund it.
Why is it? Hey, Jackson, don't touch the mics, bud. Why is it not priority for the government to fund it?
I think that they look very short-term in their outlook of spending priorities, and I feel like they don't see the long-term effects of not helping people early. So not helping someone early means that there's less chance of them recovering. Like, the more years you have anorexia, the less likely you are to ever fully recover from it.
And is that because like this certain mentality is just kind of getting more cemented?
It's very ingrained.
Yeah.
It's very rigid and stubborn. Mm-hmm. And these thought patterns are really hard to break. Mm-hmm. And you can break them to a certain extent. And some people do say they fully recover. I personally am not sure if that's ever going to be a thing for me.
Okay, so why is that?
It's just been a long time. Mm-hmm. And I know that doesn't mean I can't. But 15 years of this behavior and using this as a coping mechanism, and finding out that actually other coping mechanisms are not really doing it for me right now. Like other like what I should be doing, like mindfulness and relaxation and like anxiety management stuff. It's not really doing it for me. Like the restriction and the exercise did it for me. But I was just damaging myself. So now I need to try and lean into the good coping mechanisms and not the bad.
Yeah. That must be really hard. Like, that must be so difficult. like a few years ago, I started to become more aware of just like some thought patterns that I had that I needed to change, and just that was difficult. And
Yeah.
like I'm still working on it. Like it's difficult. Like I can't imagine taking something that has been more cemented in my brain as like a serious coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine. I don't know what that's like. It sounds really horrible.
It is.
But like you must be like it makes you that much stronger, the fact that you're
Yeah.
actually working to counteract it.
Yeah, but it's a lot of effort, a lot of conscious effort too.
Yeah.
And I feel like the eating disorder is it's just so powerful, and it makes you feel like that you need it, that you can't cope another way, and like, look, you've done this for years, like, and it's worked, like, you know, we're like best buds, right? It's like that friend that is kind of toxic and like they claim to be your best friend, but actually they're like talking about you behind your back, or like they're not a good friend really,
right.
but they put on the pretense that like they seem like they are to the outside world. And it's kind of like what the eating disorder voice is like. It makes you feel like you can't do life without it, and like it kind of feels like that. But I think things are very slowly changing for me.
What kinds of thoughts do you use to help turn that around?
Right now, I'm doing kind of a bad job of positive self-talk. Today in particular, like a lot of anxiety caused by lunch, or my reaction to lunch, because food can't like make you feel bad, it's just like your view of it. So it's hard. I've been doing like a lot of negative self-talk today, which is not great.
No.
It's not going to change anything for the better anyway. Yeah, it's kind of foggy in my mind right now, actually.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
That yeah, negative self-talk. That's sheesh, that's hard. I tend to beat myself up, so I'm kind of trying to relate to what that must feel like based off of just the way that I can behave, the way I catch myself behaving. I was doing it earlier today. I was able to stop myself, like,
That's good.
but it's like that's after, like I'm trying to think of how many years it's been since I've, like, I just remember waking up one morning and starting to like think a certain way, and then all of a sudden realizing like, wait a minute, I can just choose to not think this way. And that was like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago.
It's like changing the internal dialogue.
Yeah.
So like my internal dialogue is very much it was kind of determined by how my parents treated me when I was growing up. And so I've still got that those thoughts and things that they said going around in my head, but they're not like thoughts from me, but it's just so easy to fall into a pattern of thinking like you've always thought, just because it's really hard to change.
Yeah. Especially when it's something that you've learned from your parents, because like
Yeah,
those
they're
early
supposed to tell you
years,
the
it's-
truth,
Well,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Speaking of parents. Oh, bud. When am I going to stop?
Yeah.
I would guess kind of soon. But just give us a minute. We're still finishing the conversation, buddy.
It goes on there.
It does.
Yeah, it goes on there. Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah. Jackson, what you tell us, what do I think of you?
I'm special.
That you're special?
Yeah.
Yeah, what else do I think of you?
Like I'm great, I think.
That you're great? Yeah, you're right.
Well, I think I've been good boy every day. I was at school for one, like I was at the principal's office for one day.
Yeah, when was that?
In primary.
In primary? Do you remember what for?
Like I didn't eat my supper because there was no water, the water what the noodle goes in, so that's why.
And so you had to go to the office for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, strict.
okay. Yeah.
They take eating very seriously.
Oh, well.
Apparently. I don't know. It's good.
Interesting.
Good start. Make sure you eat your food.
Yeah.
Yeah, what your parents think about you, like that is like they're supposed to be the people that tell you the truth about you. And it is that you're special and that you're pretty great and that you are a good boy or a good girl. Right, Jackson? Those are good things.
That was like really wonderful to hear.
Oh, it's really wonderful to hear. It made me feel like, okay, there's something I'm doing
Okay, I got this.
I've got this. I've got this. Because I yell sometimes, hey, Jackson? Is that right or is that wrong?
Wrong.
It's wrong. That's right. And you know that I apologize after, right? Do I apologize after I yell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, I mean, but like, I feel like it's a parent's duty to make their kids aware of when they make a mistake, like when the parent makes a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, because I'm going to mess up. I yell. Like, I yelled today, this evening. I got really frustrated because the kids weren't listening to me, and I yelled a lot. Like, more than once. I yelled like 3 times, probably. And I had to go and apologize to each of my kids because they don't deserve to be yelled at. Doesn't matter how they're behaving. I'm the adult, and I'm not supposed to yell. Like, that's the parent's duty.
Yeah.
And when they don't do that, when they like mistreat you, that's something that you carry with you for a very long time. It's difficult to rewire your brain to like, and then it's like you're looking for what the truth is out there.
Yes. And you're like, well, what is it? Where is it?
Yeah. Like, how am I going to find out what the truth is about me? Who's going to tell me that? It's like you have to find somebody that you can learn to trust to tell you the truth about yourself.
That's hard.
It is hard,
Right?
especially when you don't know how, when you weren't taught to trust proper people when you were younger. It's more difficult to find somebody to properly trust when you get older.
Like, why would they tell me the truth if my parents didn't?
Exactly. With the people who are biologically designed to love me don't, then how can I trust?
Then what is life?
Yeah.
The end.
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got pretty deep there, didn't it?
It did get pretty deep there.
Yeah.
But like, so it makes sense that you would struggle this much with the eating disorder if you had people telling you all these, the people that you're supposed to love you and take care of you were telling you lies about you. Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So I just really hope that you find somebody that you can trust, who can be telling you the truth about you all the time.
I think I found a pretty good community to do that.
Good.
Thank you for being part of that community.
It's an honor to be a part of that community.
You know, when it just, people say things and it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
It felt kind of warm and fuzzy inside just then.
Yay.
Yay.
Good.
Those moments are moments that I try to hold on to in treatment. Like
Yeah.
I also see a therapist outside of treatment because they can't offer individual therapy there. They haven't got the resources. And she asked me a while ago to ask people that I trust, that I'm close with, to tell me what they like about me.
That's really cool.
And so I wrote them down. I felt really stupid.
Yeah, I could get,
Of course.
but
Like,
yeah.
even like big-headed. It's kind of, like, it's a completely alien thing, like, for
Right.
me to do. And like for a lot of people actually,
Okay.
because it's, you know, not your normal conversation.
Yeah.
And I got a cork board and I wrote them all out in colourful writing and stuck them on there. And I have a little reading nook that I made in my tiny walk-in wardrobe, and I hung it on the wall. So I walk in and I get my clothes every day and I see it.
I love that. That's so smart.
And today I was like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of positivity here.
Yeah.
I'm running out of mechanisms to get through this day, and I was thinking that I would take the cards off of the corkboard and take them with me to clinic tomorrow.
That's such a
Just
good
read
idea.
them after breakfast or after lunch or...
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
I really like that. Like, I really like that. And I think that kind of like, that confirms my belief that a community is so important to help you, to help remind you of...
Hurt me.
Okay, you don't have to touch that, bud. Yeah, I can move it. So, but it's important to have like a community that helps remind you what the truth is of yourself, because especially when you've had people lie to you for so long, you got to be reminded a lot of what the truth is about you.
Yep.
I won't eat that.
And people can say it over and over again.
Yeah.
And one day maybe you believe it.
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It took me a long time to start believing the nice things that people said about me. It's difficult when you have these, and I didn't even have like my mom didn't say mean things to me. My dad didn't even really say mean things to me. Like he said strange things. And he was scary. I know now that he didn't want to be.
Yeah.
But then there are just some other people that were in my life that did say cruel things to me, and it was like, I'm just thinking like the impact that they had, and they weren't my parents, right? Like,
Yep.
it's...
Why do we want to listen to the negative more than the positive?
Yeah, why is that? It's true.
It's easier to take care of someone else. I don't know.
Is it true for everybody, I wonder?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think that there are people who find it easier to listen to the positive about themselves and ignore the negative.
And I think probably people who've had issues in their childhood and stuff are probably more predisposed or vulnerable to believing these negative things.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just because that's normal.
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Shouldn't be normal, but
No, it shouldn't be.
that's life sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. Sad. Was there anything else that, like, we were interrupted, I don't even know how many times. Hi, little interruption. This is laying on the floor now.
Sleepy.
But was there anything else that you were, like, really hoping to touch on that we didn't quite get to?
Just that if you are struggling with your relationship with food, or exercise, or, I mean, this doesn't have to just be anorexia. There's people who struggle with bulimia, binge eating disorder, otherwise not specified, which is technically what I have now because my BMI is not low. But I still say I have anorexia because I think exactly the same as I did when I was a very low weight. But a practitioner wouldn't say that I had that. But anyway.
Okay.
Just if you are struggling like at all, early intervention is key. Go to your family doctor, get them to refer you to an eating disorder service. The one that I attend is incredible. I didn't think that I would find so many supportive and compassionate people in one place that actually care about me and want the best for me.
That's amazing.
And their ultimate goal is to teach me and the other clients to be able to care for ourselves properly, which is amazing.
Wow.
yeah.
That is amazing. That's like so important. It's encouraging to learn. The weird sound is just Jackson making weird sounds. He's not choking or anything. Just for everybody listening.
Got him by the neck. No.
But it's encouraging to know that people are starting to create programs where there are people who genuinely care and take care, help you take care of you in the city of Halifax. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's some amazing stuff there. Just incredible. And I mean, you might feel ashamed if you feel like you have an issue with food or whatever, but really there's no shame. Like, we all struggle with something.
Yeah.
And we place a lot of blame on ourselves for struggling the way that we do. And yes, we do make decisions every day to, for example, not eat or exercise or not exercise. But at the end of the day, we all need support to make these changes in our lives. And we're supposed to live in community. We're supposed to help each other and raise each other up. And I mean, your whole friendship group, your whole family has to fight an eating disorder. You can't just do it by yourself.
That's brilliant.
That would be the takeaway, I think, if there was any takeaway from this podcast, would be you can't fight it alone. You have to have a team to fight against anorexia, for example.
I love that. Okay.
Go team anorexia. You should probably think of a different team name, like a cool team name, like go team. Yeah, I don't know.
Go team fire danger.
Fire danger.
That sounds pretty
Just
cool.
thinking of Harry Potter references because I love Harry Potter and there's a Harry Potter book right in front of me. Actually, there's several.
Yep. Sean gets me a book every Christmas.
Oh, I love them so much.
They're really great.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for making your way out here and for being really patient with all of the interruptions that we had. And
You're welcome.
I think that you're really wonderful. I think that you are an incredibly loving person. You're witty and intelligent. You are very strong-willed, which I think is actually a really great attribute.
And also not.
It also works against you.
Stubborn eating disorder brain.
Yep. But I really like having you in my life. I've missed you these last few weeks because we haven't been talking as much. But I'm not saying that to make you feel guilty about it. I'm just saying
It's fine.
it's nice to be missed.
Life.
Right? And I think that you just have so much to offer. When you come on this, you're very informative and you have a very nice way of speaking. Like you have like a very understanding and compassionate way of speaking about things. And I think that's really encouraging, especially for someone who's kind of struggling with a lot of shame over something that they're having a hard time with. So I think that's really important. And I think that you will have the ability to make a lot of change and make big differences in people's lives. So thanks very much for coming on here again and sharing more of your story.
That's so wonderful. Oh. It's the warm and fuzzy feeling again.
Yeah,
that we
good.
talked about.
All right. And I guess with that, I just want to say to everybody who's listening, thank you so much for listening to this. And thanks for being patient with some of the interruptions that we're having and the little noises that were going on in the background for the past half hour or something like that. And I hope that this was something that you were able to be encouraged by. And please remember that if there is anything that you ever want to talk about or ask something about, I know that I love hearing from you, and I know that Emma would love to answer any questions. So you can just message me, and I will get those questions to her. And Jackson has a question. What's up, buddy?
What is background mean?
Background?
Yeah.
That means that I'm talking right now, and this is the main voice that people are hearing. But then the little when you're kind of moving around or when you're making little noises and stuff, that's not the main sound that people hear, but it's a sound that they hear in the background.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. And yeah, so I also want everybody out there to remember that wherever you are, I'm just sitting here loving you. I hope that you have a really great night, morning, afternoon, evening, and I'll be talking to you again soon. I love you. Bye.